Chapter 14. Frantic Search. The man was taken aback, his expression subtly changing, pretending to be clueless as he asked, "What do you mean?" Hiroshi smiled, leaning halfway out of the car window, and said, "They're all millennium-old foxes. Why are you playing these tales of strange events with me? These things. If you dare to take a bite in front of me, then I'll take care of it all." "Don't you trust me?" the man retorted. "Enough. Move out of the way." Hiroshi, impatient to continue the conversation, gestured as if to pull out his phone. "Otherwise, I'll call the police." "No, no, no." The man hurriedly waved his hand, embarrassed smile on his face. "If you don't want to buy, then don't buy. But don't ruin my business, little brother. I'll move the car for you right away." The truck that had been blocking the road finally moved aside enough to let the car pass. Hiroshi stepped on the gas pedal and swiftly drove past. "Brother, is he a scammer?" Kiko witnessed everything and blinked, asking with curiosity.
Yes.
Hiroshi nodded. From the moment the man opened his satchel, he recognized that the fruits and vegetables inside had been irradiated. Although the radiation wasn't severe and wasn't obvious on the surface, after years of farming, if he couldn't spot the abnormalities on the skin of these fruits and vegetables, then he might as well give up farming altogether. He's a scammer, and the worst kind. In the current global upheaval, there were plenty of people trying to get rich quick. Hiroshi didn't necessarily dislike those who tried to pass off inferior goods as superior, but they should at least have some bottom line. Like before the apocalypse, those who sold fake medicine to the elderly on the streets were mainly selling capsules labeled as deer antler ginseng, but the main ingredient was potato flour. But at least potato flour wouldn't kill people, right? But consuming irradiated fruits and vegetables could be deadly. In the past, people like these profiteers who risked lives for wealth would have been arrested and executed 100 times over. But now, their brazen activities were becoming intolerable. From this, Hiroshi increasingly felt the impact of the apocalypse on the world, not just limited to food shortages. Even the control of the military and police seemed much weaker than before. Hiroshi suddenly remembered a hint from the system. Establish a new civilization in the ruins. Was this a harbinger? That the current order and civilization would completely collapse after the apocalypse arrived? Hiroshi murmured softly. The current system has not yet collapsed. Once the second apocalypse arrives and the rivers and water sources disappear, I'm afraid there will be riots that even the military and police cannot suppress. Taking a deep breath, Hiroshi admitted that he certainly didn't want the system to collapse, leading to a breakdown in civilization. But he wasn't a god. He couldn't single-handedly change the world. Now, all he could do was ensure his own safety first, and then consider helping others or the country. The experiences outside that night further motivated Hiroshi's diligence. Only by seizing the opportunity of the system farm, working hard, could he and Kiko avoid ending up like those stray cats and dogs on the roadside. Upon returning to the farm, Kiko immediately clamored for a midnight snack. Children had vigorous energy, and they needed a lot of food to fuel their activities, especially at Kiko's age, when she was growing. So, she needed to eat 4 meals a day, or she would wake up hungry in the middle of the night. Hiroshi skillfully tied on an apron. His daily tasks were simple now: cooking, farming, harvesting. However, perhaps inheriting his parents' genes, he didn't find this life boring at all. On the contrary, he enjoyed it. Watching Kiko devour the delicious dishes he made filled him with inexplicable satisfaction. The lamb he slaughtered a few days ago had already thawed completely. He cut 2 white radishes into small chunks, added water to the pot, and blanched the remaining blood from the lamb. After washing it again with cold water, he slowly stewed the lamb in an iron pot. He didn't use too many seasonings, just a few ginger shreds. The lamb itself was flavorful enough, so it didn't need heavy seasoning. Too much seasoning would detract from its natural taste. The low flame gradually transmitted heat through the iron pot, and soon, the pot began to bubble. After about half an hour, the aroma of the lamb began to spread throughout the room. Hiroshi added the radish chunks to the pot and sprinkled some salt. At this point, Kiko was already standing outside the kitchen with her bowl, eagerly waiting for the moment the midnight snack would be ready. 10 minutes later, the radishes were fully cooked. Hiroshi lightly pierced a piece of lamb with a chopstick and found no resistance. It went through easily. Seeing this, Hiroshi casually sprinkled some green onions. Lamb and radish soup is ready. This midnight snack was quite lavish. In addition to each having 2 bowls of lamb and radish soup, they also each had 2 peppered lamb hooves and, for dessert after dinner, a plate of cherries. Eating too much at night was obviously not in line with the principles of health and nutrition. But for some reason, ever since he started eating radiation-resistant vegetables, Hiroshi found that his appetite was increasing. Eating so much in one sitting didn't cause any discomfort, and he only felt about 70% full. Most importantly, Kiko seemed to have an even bigger appetite than him. Her bowl of cherries was already empty. It seems that as physical fitness increases, the demand for nutrients will also increase. Hiroshi pondered. Then his gaze fell on Kiko, whose data had also significantly increased. At this rate, could she develop into a human T-Rex? Eating several tons of meat in one meal? Hiroshi was startled by his own speculation, but soon he dismissed it. It didn't seem like a big deal. With the shelter system, even if Kiko's appetite in the future rivaled that of Monkey D. Luffy, he could still afford to feed her. After being fully fed, Hiroshi habitually logged into the South City Forum. In the current situation, you couldn't necessarily get the truth about the outside world from official reports. Only in these mixed forums could you exchange more information. As soon as he opened the forum, countless posts flooded in. Most of them were about their experiences in recent days, the difficulties encountered in fighting for food, and various horrifying experiences witnessed firsthand. For example, someone saw homeless people being attacked by mutated monsters, their bodies gnawed down to the bones. Someone posted about how they and their longtime friends fought over a few pounds of rice, leading to a physical altercation. Hiroshi clicked on one of the posts. Beautiful person. OP, there have been many incidents of livestock mutations attacking humans in our village recently. This afternoon, my father slaughtered the water buffalo we've raised for over a decade. Sob? I am so heartbroken. I used to play on its back when I was a child. To commemorate it, my father sawed off its horns, and I'm feeling choked up just looking at the horn comb now. Hiroshi sighed silently as he read the post. Such incidents were becoming increasingly common lately, with many people forced to kill their longtime pets. There were even reports of military and police officers starting to hunt down stray cats and dogs. He scrolled down and noticed a change in the tone of the replies. Love wreck? Second post, I bet the OP is combing her hair with one hand, while munching on the buffalo meat with the other. Heartbroken? That's non-existent. Just left with handsome. Third post, can you send me a few pounds of that water buffalo's flesh as well? I'd like to commemorate it with you. Impotence. Third post, can you use half of the remaining buffalo horns and meat for consumption and the other half for release? All for nothing. Fourth post, I am that water buffalo. Moo moo moo. Now, let me come back from the dead to say a few words. OP, why don't you use your grandfather's skull to make a chamber pot in his memory? Wait till midnight, and I'll bring you some happiness. Beautiful person. OP. At all. For nothing, go F yourself. Hiroshi couldn't help but burst into laughter. What started as a rather sad event quickly turned into a humorous exchange among these silly netizens. Exiting that thread, Hiroshi refreshed the page again. Immediately, several posts with similar titles caught his eye. High reward. Seeking the poster of the apocalypse prediction 3 days ago. Mysterious poster of apocalypse prediction within the forum, urgently sought. Generous rewards guaranteed. $300,000 reward. Hiroshi scrolled down, his expression turning increasingly grim. There were at least 2 or 3 such posts among the top 10. This indicated that someone had been tirelessly searching for him since 3 days ago. They just won't give up? Hiroshi furrowed his brows. Isn't this getting a bit too much?